We've passed on all we know. 1,000 generations live in you now. But this is your fight.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Alliance live show number 93. So, as you guys just saw, I'm really excited about the new movie coming out. So, I figured we'd take a look at the trailer and kind of get everybody's thoughts here. So, I'm joined today by some of the usual suspects. Good old Maurice. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good. What are you doing over there? You look like you're either using a calculator or you're frozen or something.
No, my camera's frozen.
Your camera's frozen?
Yeah. I'm like moving around and stuff, yeah.
Okay.
You guys get a nice view of my forehead for the time being. I'm trying to refresh it here.
All right. How you doing, Ranger?
I'm doing good, man. What's going on?
Pretty good. So I'm joined by Ranger as well, RangerJ1999, the infamous one himself, who helped coach me through the Darth Malak event. Wouldn't have Malak if it wasn't for Ranger. Thank you very much, my friend. And
you're welcome. Where's my Monopoly money?
And we have Abby here today. How you doing, Abby?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Good, good. The Queen of Alpha. So we're ready to go. I guess before we dive into the tasty stuff, which is the rework coming from Malak, let's kind of talk about the Rise of Skywalker, the trailer, and your thoughts about the upcoming film. I got to tell you, going into this Star Wars celebration, I mean, I knew the trailer was coming, but I had literally zero expectations for this film, other than I was a little bit happy about the fact that J.J. Abrams was taking on the project. And I kind of liked The Force Awakens, so I thought that, being that it's in his hands, he's probably going to do something better with it than let's not even talk about him. But he did hype me up. I got to tell you, I mean, watching that trailer, some people aren't really a huge fan of some of the things about it. I mean, we did hear the Emperor cackle, and that's a huge, awesome thing, in my opinion, anyway. Some people, want, the fandom is divided, so everybody has different opinions, and that's no matter what comes out, everybody's going to have split opinions about it. But I got to tell you, I literally went into this super disappointed about seeing another fight with Rey versus Kylo Ren, and now this trailer has me hyped up, thinking that there's a little bit more to the story than maybe I thought there might be. What do you guys think about it?
It's hard to say. I'm totally excited about it. It's a nice little teaser. Can't wait for the actual trailer to come out at some point. But wow, I'm not sure what to think.
I think Billy D. Williams looks pretty good for being 82 years old.
Yeah, he does. Is your camera refreshed, Maurice? Do I need to fix it on my end?
Yeah, I've refreshed it. I'm just hanging out my forehead tonight.
Okay. I'm gonna fix it here. Give me 1 second. Let me just do.
I work on the Hangout screen.
Yeah, you're probably fine. I may just need to refresh it on my end. Give me 1 sec. Okay. I'm sure what you guys are seeing right now doesn't look really cool.
Hey, it's just a picture of good old Maurice's lovely set of hair.
But now we're back.
Oh,
okay.
my.
Oh no, and now Ranger's frozen.
Oh,
It's like one of you guys has to be frozen.
oh no, and I'm moving. Oh god, it's a picture of me moving.
All right, let me try this now. Hold on. Let's see here. Technical difficulties. Wouldn't be a good stream without some technical difficulties. All right, let's try this.
What's up, guys? Gussie / Van Rhodes, Thane Kyrell donated $1.99. Will episode 9 bring in the Eternal Twins?
I'm not even going to justify a response to that.
Are you in the chat still? Oh, you know you are, but because oh man. Okay.
Yeah, you got just me on the screen now.
Yeah, because of what happened. Okay, hold on 1 second. I know what I have to do. We got 2 Maurices on the screen right now.
Word?
Oh man, I'm not sure I can handle that.
Okay. So close. Now we can interact and pick Ranger. There we go. And now I can set the filter again for 30. Close. We can go back to scene. And if one of you guys was frozen again this time, I don't know what to do.
That's good.
Yeah, but I mean now,
Forget about it.
Now it looks okay. I think Maurice is frozen again. I gotta tell you, I really think so. But at least he's frozen in a better position this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just my forehead.
Looks like he's doing the news. I'm Ted Couple.
This says does not want to have one of you guys live at the same time, so we're just gonna roll with it. All right, so as far as that goes, I mean, what are your guys' thoughts about this? What do you think, Ranger? Are you excited for the episode 9 or no?
Yeah, I wasn't one of the. I mean, episode 8 was okay. I had some problems with it, but I liked it. I recognize that it's not a perfect film, and I'm not one of those people that are like all in or all out, on the films. I think each film's subjective. I don't get into that whole debate about anything. From what I saw, did I get excited? Yeah, of course. It's Star Wars. I'm going to be excited. There was a lot of stuff that I saw this weekend that has me excited. There's some people that are upset, like, you're supporting Disney and all this other stuff. Get over yourself. If you don't like something, then don't like something. If someone likes something, then let them like it. Good Lord. So
Right.
I don't have time for that garbage. I look at everything, from The Mandalorian, from the new series, the final season of Clone Wars. I mean, I'm excited about that stuff. I think Dave Filoni has never let me down, and those are 2 projects that he's doing, and I like that. I did like Force Awakens a lot. So I'll see what JJ does. I'll watch the movie. I'll have an opinion on it if I, like everybody else. So, I mean, it's just, it's good that we have Star Wars, guys. I've lived through a period for 16 years from when Return of the Jedi ended to when we didn't have anything until episode 1. be thankful that they're still trying to produce content. They may screw up and they may not have it, and you have every right if you don't like something, but they don't have to be producing anything. So if you want to just have that 16-year period where all we have were the books, then by all means keep being haters. So I'm excited. As far as I'm concerned, Disney can have all my money. I will be invested in all those. Whether they're good or not is another subject altogether. And then if I don't like it, I'll call it out. Everybody knows me. I'm not afraid to call out things that I have a problem.
So the real question is, what's everybody's thoughts about Emperor Palpatine coming back to life?
We don't know. We don't know that. Come on, it's a misdirection. We've seen it before. They've done it in Marvel films. They've done it with trailers before, where just to get us going. What? Oh, that must mean doesn't mean a damn thing until we get further confirmation or see more.
This is what I'll say. Okay, as soon as that trailer ended, all you were thinking is, what? Emperor Palpatine. And then Ian McDermott literally walks out on stage and says, roll it again. Like, literally a second later, he's there. And then J.J. Abrams confirmed afterwards that Palpatine is in the film. Now, that doesn't mean that he's going to physically be there. Like, I mean,
right.
This could be a flashback. It could be, it could be a ghost. I mean, again, Sith can't have ghosts, but it could be something like we saw in the video game where he had like a robot with his face, where it was him, like his essence, like passed into something else. It could be anything. I mean, it could be anything. But
it came right after they see the wreckage of the second Death Star. So, it's in reference to that. We don't know. So everybody, just relax. We'll get more information. We'll have to wait during football season, like the last two trailers for the movies, and have a population, and then we'll know more. And
listen, if Maul can survive being thrown down that shaft and literally cut in half, okay, then Palpy, who's much stronger in the Force, could probably survive his fall.
Well, sure. I mean, in the books, in the original Thrawn trilogy, the Emperor was recreated through DNA and stuff. So he was able to jump through the Force from body to body. So, I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibilities for something like that to happen.
Right.
And in canon, in the Clone Wars, Yoda does meet it's not a Force ghost, but it's like a spirit of Darth Bane.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, there could be some challenge that they come across maybe when they enter the wreckage of the Death Star, where maybe like some spirit version of Palpatine is like trapped there.
Typically in canon, Sith are usually trapped somewhere. Their embodiments, whether it's Exar Kun, whether it's Darth Bane, Darth Revan, either through a holocron or some kind of place like the Yavin Temple where Exar Kun was trapped, right? They can't exist from that area. So if they did something like that, the Death Star would make total sense, right? Some sort of way that Palpatine's essence was trapped there, right? That's what happens with Sith when they die. They're not like Jedi who become with the Force and can, walk wherever they like and appear.
How cool would it be if some spirit of Palpatine appeared in the Death Star when they were rummaging through the wreckage? And then at that moment, Anakin's Force Ghost came out, and they actually had a mano-a-mano, like right there, like in the Death Star.
Talk about how we hate fans some more. We never know. I mean, it could be any kind of conversation.
I think that would be even more epic than if Luke came out and did it. I think if Anakin came out and did it, it would be cooler.
I mean, there have been rumors of Hayden Christensen doing something for Episode 9. Nothing's been
God, no. No, please, not him.
Listen. After what I've seen, I'll take Hayden Christensen any day of the week. Okay, I'll tell you that right now. People were spoiled. Okay, they didn't know what they had. Okay, they were upset about these. People were so upset about the original, the prequels, that they didn't think it was possible to get any worse. It is. Okay, so you know what? You thought Episode 3 was bad. Episode 8 is worse. Okay? And I'll tell you...
Episode 3 is one of my favorite films.
Episode 3 is great. Episode 3 is great.
1 and 2, I can't watch. I just can't.
And Hayden,
I love.
Hayden
I
Christensen.
can't. 1 and 2. Oh God.
Hayden Christensen is not a bad actor. Like, I've seen him in other movies where he's actually really good.
Yeah,
Like,
he's done some decent work.
he's just like, you can only act based upon. I mean, the lines that he was told to read in some of those Star Wars movies are a little awful. You know what I mean? So it's like
A little awful. Oh, it was.
Episode 2 is just awful.
Oh my God! Yes.
George Lucas is not a romance guy. Okay, he's not a romance
No.
guy. He's a lightsaber, adventure guy.
Well, that's why Irvin Kushner did Empire Strikes Back and was able to pull that romance off between Han and Leia. People forget that Empire and Return of the Jedi had different directors.
Yeah.
And the reason that Revenge of the Sith works for me is I know Steven Spielberg had a lot to do with that ending battle scene that you see in Mustafar. That was kind of his little project that he did for Lucas. So you can see why Revenge of the Sith was so much better. I thought it was a really good film. I like Revenge of the Sith. It's one of my top 3 films of the. But again, there are people that absolutely love Phantom Menace. I mean, watching the panel today in Celebration, you have to think that the young kids, like when we saw Star Wars,
Did you cut out there, Ranger? I think we lost Ranger.
Oh no! Yeah, sounds like it. Right in the middle of something too.
He was about to say something awesome. What do you think, Maurice?
What about the movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll be cool. I mean, I'm going to see it. I mean, I'm nowhere near I'm nowhere near the lore master you 3 are. I enjoy the movies. I didn't think the 7th and 8th installments were terrible. So I mean, this is, I don't know, could be cool. Palpatine laughing at the end. Maybe that's why the game just teased us with Palpatine for a couple weeks here before they just
well, who knows? Maybe he's just laughing.
took him back away
because it's just laughing.
Yeah,
it's possible. Listen. I'm not gonna think that for 100% for sure anything's happening. I mean, of course, that it's just a teaser trailer, and I mean, it's meant to be like a sizzle reel and get us all excited, and that's kind of the point. So,
right.
I don't know like what's really going to happen, and none of us do. But I have to feel like they're going for something that could be really cool, and I'm just glad that there is like something to be excited about, because there has like not been for so long now, and it's like I feel like most of the fandom has been very disappointed, and I guess like really not expecting much out of this last film, and now that this trailer's come, I feel like there's at least a little bit of higher anticipations for the film now, and that kind of makes me happy. I just got destroyed, by the way. So what's going on with Ranger? Is he still in?
I heard a bloop, which means somebody disconnected.
Yeah, he's not even in Discord anymore. All right.
Yeah, he's not in the Hangouts either. You might have lost the internet or something.
Well, listen. When it rains, it pours. And
yeah.
What can I say? Now we've got 2 Maurices on the screen. We've got you in still motion, and we've got you in live action.
That's scary enough as it is. There's double the Maurices is a dangerous thing.
Let me.
Look at this guy.
Look at this guy. All right, let me fix this. Hold on.
I always got to check the screen to make sure I'm pointing the right way. It's kind of confusing.
Oh, Nathaniel says Maurice consumed Ranger.
Maurice consumed Ranger.
Boy, Maurice is popping up all over on that screen.
Okay.
Yeah. Next week, guys, we'll try something new right before we start the stream, I guess. So.
Yeah. This was kind of like a, we were trying to see if we could get Ranger's camera on here. I'll make sure that we're better prepared for that next time. This time it was like kind of, but I don't think that's why his internet went out. That has nothing to do with that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but now we're back to normal here. So whenever
Dada's asking for Abby's camera. You don't want Dada. You don't want to see my ugly mug on the camera, especially right now. So I've got my Star Wars pajamas on.
Abby's ready to go clubbing right now. You guys have no idea. She's got she's got her knee-high boots on right now.
I do have a pair of those. So. But they're a pair of knee-high Klingon boots, so...
She is too graceful to be seen with us bums. That's what it is. Ranger's got that DSL internet, yeah.
Yeah.
Ranger's got that DSL.
It'll be probably 400 baud.
You know, the Ranger, I've never seen Ranger drop out, like, during a stream or anything like that, so there must be something up. You know, maybe his power went out or something like that. You don't know. Because, I mean, he would have jumped right back on if his internet was just like... If it was just like a matter of resetting his router, he'd probably be back already. So whenever Ranger does come back, you know, he's... I'm sure he'll jump back in the chat. But if not, we will remember him. But what we can do now is kind of talk about this upcoming change. Okay, so upcoming change to Darth Malak. In the next week, we're making a change to Darth Malak's ability, Gnawing Terror, so that it performs closer to what we initially intended. So basically, the change is going to be they've just added one line of text, and that's that Sith enemies can't gain bonus turn meter, excludes raid bosses. Okay, so basically that renders Palpatine teams in Arena kind of useless against Darth Malak. So that's against it. Is it Jaws of Life? No, sorry, Gnawing Terror. So basically here it's just going to read that Sith enemies can't gain bonus turn meter.
Well, it doesn't render. It renders Palpatine absolutely useless. You know, it's just like basically what this means is, we did not intend for Palpatine to beat this team so easily. That's what it meant by. That's
all it is. It's an excuse that to do that. It's not something as intended, but it's
this is not only hurtful to the Palpatine users. This is hurtful to the people that did get Darth Revan, that did get Darth Malak, that might not have the caliber of mods their arena opponents do, because now this is going to render Sith Assassin useless too. Sith Assassin should, according to this bold sentence, will not be feeding turn meter to any of your team either. So those, a lot of people have their very best mods on Sith Assassin and Darth Revan. They just simply don't have, 120, 130, whatever the case would be, secondary speed for the other three characters, right? So they're totally dependent on Sith Assassin kind of boosting their team, getting them going. That's not going to work anymore. So, I mean, not only is this kind of a, I don't know the best way to put this, but this is not very good to those that were using Palpatine as their counter, myself included, Grand Arena. If you place Malak, I've got my Palpatine team. That's a good high percentage chance I'm going to counter it. Not any longer, So this will be very interesting. This team is, unless you have Jedi Knight Revan, maybe Bastila. There's a couple other teams that can beat it. I mean, you've just taken the big counter. The counter off the board. So this is
Well, the big elephant in the room, I guess, is something that you discussed before the stream with us, and that's that some people, some people that we know, decided not to go for Malak because they figured that there was a counter, right? So they basically decided to take a risk and not go for the character and spend the money because they figured that they'd be able to counter him in the meta regardless with Palpatine. So now, after the fact, they no longer have the right to make that decision. So, I mean, do you think that that's fair? That's the question here.
Well, it's a person's choice whether they would have gone for Malak or not. I mean, if the thing is that he could have gone, a person could go for Malak and not use him and still use Emperor Palpatine. So by making a conscious choice not to get Malak, that's on them. That's not on anybody else, whether the Palpatine works or not. You can't trust what's going to go on in the game. You have to believe, especially the way that the game keeps changing. They change the characters, whether they nerf them or buff them. You have to expect something. And to have Emperor Palpatine be able to just demolish Darth Revan is just it's not fair to those that went and got the Darth Revan and then could be so easily countered, whereas you have JKR that is not so easily countered. So that was just my thoughts on that.
Yeah, there's two sides of the coin, I guess, here. And just yeah, like I'd be lying if I didn't say like, oh, now Malak's all right, because Malak to this point, at least for me, my team does just as well with like Sith Trooper as does Malak. I don't have any Zetas on Malak. I don't really know how to use Malak. I haven't really been super impressed with him so far. I'm sure it's a huge part into user error, but this makes him it's unclear if the post it's unclear if this big bold text Sith enemies can't gain bonus turn meter, if that's part of the Zeta or not. If it's not part of the Zeta, that might be a little over the top. I do hope this is part of the Zeta aspect of it.
Yeah, me too.
That's kind of silly because then you really don't even need to gear.
I mean, listen,
Darth Malak, just like
everybody's gonna have that Zeta. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it doesn't matter. I just think that it could be a situation where, listen, I think most people that were going to get Malak or were within striking distance made the strive to get him. There are a few people that I've spoken to that didn't go that way because, I mean, they're saying now that they would have, hadn't that been the case. I mean, I still feel like there's some people that wouldn't have done it anyway, but it's one of those things where now we never know because they don't have a choice anymore. And
right.
Had they been a little bit more forthcoming about what the change was going to be on, let's say, Saturday, then that would be a different story, right? So if they, but I guess there was no way they could have known. I mean, this is a live service game, and live service games have bugs, and they have to switch things all the time. I also kind of understand the other side of it, too. I mean, for those people that made the investment and are trying to, kind of contribute to the game, and kind of help, with its longevity, those people were kind of penalized for going for Malak because, I mean, they could have just, not leveled up their Malak or gone for Malak at all and just ran a Palpatine, which I mean, everybody has. And I guarantee anybody that has Malak has Palpatine. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah.
And
that's a safe assumption, yeah.
and they could have just skipped it too. I mean, so it's not fair either way, really. I mean, so it's like I don't really know what to think. I mean, I feel I'm kind of torn about it. I mean, I'm glad that I have Malak because I like the character as it is. I mean, whether he was meta defining or not, I would have still wanted to have Malak because I'm a fan of the KOTOR series and. Revan and Malak as a team would be, I mean, right up my alley. I've been speaking about having these characters for years now, so I mean, I'm not upset that I have him whether he stunk or not. I kind of like the idea of there being multiple different counters so that it's not like just one team in Arena that's dominating the scene, because we definitely do not need another Jedi Knight Revan situation where it's just Malak, Darth Revan, Malak, Darth Revan, Malak, Darth Revan everywhere you look. That sucks. You know what I mean? So it's I kind of like the way the Arena was right now, where it's like a quarter, like Jedi Knight, like a third Jedi Knight Revan, maybe like 25% Palpatine, and the rest is all Darth Revans. And that's cool. I mean, if there's like three teams that can win, that makes the meta more interesting, right? That makes it like, like you're kind of, you could kind of flip, maybe a CLS team can beat a Palpatine team, a Darth Revan team can beat a Jedi Knight Revan team, a Jedi Knight Revan team can beat a Palpatine team. You can kind of switch around your teams and, depending on who you have, it's gonna come down to basically the matchup, and that makes the meta more interesting. So I was kind of happy with that. If this becomes like a literally like, the meta report is all Darth Revan, then it'll be boring. So, I mean, I hope they consider that. So once this is all said and done, kind of like how they made an observation and said that Malak wasn't performing up to snuff, I hope that down the road, if it ends up being that where it's just, a dominant one-team meta, that they make an observation then, too, and then make an adjustment there. But that's just what I think about it. Panda, you stink at this game.
Poor Panda.
Panda's got that DSL internet too.
And they're trying to coach people up.
He's trying to show off over here. He's like, I beat it third try. I beat it third try.
I beat it in the third hour of me trying.
Panda, you gotta stick your foot in that pool for us tonight in voice chat.
My dear Lord in heaven, I hate my internet company sometimes.
Welcome back.
Oh, there he's back.
Oh, Ranger's back in the house.
Stupid ass Comcast.
Well,
that's what I have.
Comcast still offers internet service.
Oh yeah, high speeds. Yeah, I got 500 megabits, but when it's out, it's out.
Do you still get your movies at Blockbuster Video?
What are you using there, Potato Head?
I got Optimum, bro. Optimum.
What's your speed?
It's not that good. It's not as good as yours.
Yeah.
I have like 250 or something like that. Or
yeah, that's what I thought.
280 or something. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I've thought about upgrading to the premium, but I don't know how. I feel like I wouldn't perform better anyway. Like I feel like my computer would just be like maxed out at a certain point. But
well, it's important for the speed, but it's also what you're running from memory and all that other stuff. So, yeah. But I'm gonna back. I don't know for how long because they're saying there's an outage in my area, so I could be here for the rest of the show, or I could get disconnected again, and then I will just go to sleep and call a Comcast in the morning and cuss them out. Not for what I'm paying. Kiss my ass, Comcast. Get your crap together.
So we just kind of went around the table here, Ranger, and we discussed the change to Malak, and we're just kind of talking about how this affects the arena, and your thoughts on how fair it is that now these Palpatine teams are no longer going to have a chance to beat the Revan teams. Because there are some people that didn't go for Malak because they thought that Palpatine. So what are your thoughts about that?
Well, if you're shocked that they did this, I don't know what to tell you. How long have we been dealing with this stuff, right? They want their new stuff to be dominant, and if you read the Road Ahead and some of the other stuff, this is kind of the direction they want to go, where a lot of teams will not be meta, but they'll be really good. For PvP, I mean, the buck stops with Malak. If you made the investment, like a lot of us here did, and went through the pain that is getting Malak, is it fair? I don't know. I can't tell you whether it's fair or not. Is it the right move? I don't really know if it's the right move because I haven't really seen how good Malak is. I mean, certain things I react to because it's more about the money grab and stuff that I've seen, and that really gets me more upset than in-game stuff. But for this, it's been 3 days since he came out, and now we're looking at I don't know what you want to call this, a fix, a nerf, whatever you want to call it to Palpatine. But until you can get your Malak high level and get him to gear 11, because it's going to take a while unless you weld out to get those build event tokens. I mean, just thinking about it, 68,400 is making my head explode. But is it a nerf to the Palpatine people that couldn't get Malak? Yeah. Does it suck? Yeah. Are we shocked? No.
I'm not surprised that they did it. I mean, I just kind of listen.
They even said they were going to do something, and we saw it, and we knew it was coming. I don't know why. There should be no surprise. They let us know that they were going to do something. Now, was it for this specific reason? I had no idea what it was going to be. So now that I see it, It sucks, but I mean, the community always comes up with just crazy counters and stuff. I mean, Vince Steele, no matter what they do, comes up with a counter with his bounty hunters all the time. He does not run these teams; he runs his bounty hunters. So something will come up. Does it mean the Palpatine thing is dead? Yeah, it's dead, and it sucks, and I feel bad for the free to play, and but we got to see how this plays out. I mean, it's only been I got to see some more before I really get enraged or anything like that. But
Yeah.
Well, it's
it's
just
hard to
silly.
balance.
113,000.
You have two thoughts here. You've got the whales and people that got him that want him to be really good because he is a nightmare to get.
Yeah. Huge paywalls.
Well,
It's like one thing after another. You get through one paywall, there's another. You go through another one, there's another one.
You're right, and that's really more upsetting than anything. I mean, we can talk about that.
There's several whales. I mean, we're talking mega krakens that are gone.
Yeah,
that
they're
left.
gone. They're tired.
Yeah.
They're tired of it. So you're trying to balance keeping them happy, but then you have to keep the free to play happy too, because if they feel like they've got no shot in hell of beating this team, they're not going to want to play. Why would you want to play, right?
Yeah.
So
it,
that's the kind of thing, and it looks like they're leaning toward the people that pay the bills. I mean, this is no way to look at it. If Malak sucks and can be countered by Palpatine, that's a problem. If they have all these people that made this investment, they're not going to want to make an investment if you can't even get your crap to get a character that is dominant. But then the other issue is, are we going to have another meta where it's just nothing but Darth Revan, and then people that have Malak and don't have Malak, and then the rest have Jedi Knight Revan? Because unless they introduce another team to counteract that, because in the Road Ahead post it said we're not going to create a rock, paper, scissors, but want to create a thing that's going to take a couple of months to get figured out and situated to where there's teams that can beat other teams, but not a rock, paper, scissors. I'll wait to see that, but for right now, I mean, if you're free to play, I don't know what to tell you. If you got him as free to play because you thought ahead and you were like me and you saved your crystals and you got Darth Revan and you were able to do the Malak event, then you're ahead of the curve. But for all those people that were not able to get Malak because it was a crud move. You did it 29 hours before the event launch. It was only for 2 days, and then on top of that, you had to have the other characters that were 17.5. Then getting him, holy God, that's a whole nother story. Because so many people had to invest so much to get Darth Revan, and then were focused in on gearing up those three main characters, which was HK, Bastila, and Revan. So they didn't have the resources. And really, what got most people was not the dark side characters, because with Darth Revan, most people had their dark side at gear 11. They had Bastila and Jolie and Revan good to go. It was Zalbar and Mission that tripped a lot of people up because they hadn't worked on them.
Yeah.
You didn't need them high level.
And not just that, but even if you got them to gear 12, they still needed either 6E mods or a Zeta to be able to take them to that 17.5 for a couple of those weaker characters.
Yeah. My opponent, Grand Arena.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, what were you saying about Grand Arena? Or go ahead.
No, my opponent, Grand Arena, has he plays Karth team. Karth, Juani, Mission, and Zalbar all gear 11 with a Zeta on it. And then Ordo is like gear 8. So clearly people spent on these characters, invested resources they didn't really want to. I mean, why would you put? I can understand maybe Mission and Zalbar, but I mean, I don't understand the gear 11 Juani Zeta.
I wanted to. Yeah, Juhani I was forced, but everything else, I mean, like all the other characters, Karth, Mission, Zalbar, I wanted to level them up.
Yeah.
Anyway,
they're good characters.
Yeah, I had done that because I really liked the Karth team. I was running. Actually, done Mission Zalbar for the Kira Stall team. So I had worked on those characters in gear 12.
Zalbar Mission Zeta is a good.
It's a good. Yeah, I've got the Zetas. It was worth the investment in my opinion because that team's really good on defense. But that's the only reason I have that. If I had been like a lot of other people and been focusing on just the other things, then yeah, I'd be a little upset too. And it's a pretty much either you have it or you don't now. I'm waiting to see how it plays out, but I really think that it's going to create a haves and have-nots again in PvP.
Well, I think the most troublesome part is the people that have been panicking to farm and gear
Yes.
Sith Assassin and Sith Marauder, two characters that generates turn meter for your team, allowing people with the, not quite as good mods, but allowing them to remain competitive. They've now lost a huge chunk. I mean, Sith Marauder and Assassin are not easy characters to farm.
I didn't even think about that until just now when you just mentioned it.
I mean, there are Sith Assassin's dead. She's dead. She's completely useless.
Sith Assassin, I can kind of understand. People kind of had her left over from the mall meta, older players. But, newer players, there has been no reason whatsoever for you to have Sith Assassin or Sith Marauder.
No.
And people have stopped what they're doing and probably doing 2-3 Cantina refreshes to get these characters out of the 8th node, I think, Assassin. She's one of the last nodes. I don't remember where Marauder is. But, I don't remember which table. But, I mean, these are long farms, and they got them and they geared them up. The characters themselves aren't terrible to gear up, but I mean, it's just not. Now you have 2 gear 11, 2 gear 12 characters. I mean, unless you have aspirations to run a Sith fleet, which could become a reality at some point. There's no reason to have them now. They give you no benefits. I mean, because Marauder is slow, but he hits really hard underneath Darth Revan. But he gets his turns because he gets the 20% turn meter.
He is great in the Sith raid part 2, phase 2, yeah.
Oh, phase 2, I use him in phase 3.
Oh, phase 2, yeah, I've had him hit for 100k in phase 2.
I use my Revan team there, and so I use him in phase 3. I've been kind of messing with that. That's easily a good 1 million damage plus you can get with them on that, because you just burn the hell out of those sabers and just keep trade locked down, and you can really do. And Assassin and Marauder in that team do very well. I think the thing that you have to start considering too is the direction they're going with this is that PvP is on a whole nother level now. GA and TW is something different, depending on where you're at with your GP. It's going to be those players in my 4 million plus, and then the whales that spent it at lower levels that have this. But it also comes down to mods. I mean, I've got some players that are lower GP than me that have these characters, and they don't have the mods. They do not have the mods at all for this stuff.
I'm a high GP, and I don't have the mods. I cannot get the mod. I have farmed the crap out of mods, and I just don't have anything. I've got so many characters now that need practically God mods, and I don't have anything to go around at all.
But it was, I think this announcement is kind of I don't know how else to put it other than a middle finger to the free-to-plays. That, like, oh, you think you're going to beat this team without this? Sorry, not happening. So
we just got a donation from Carlos Alberto Pinto.
Carlos is still here.
He says, I was a launch free-to-play with a 4.6 million GP, first place in both arenas. And he said, I've quit the game when Malak was announced. The sequence of player hostile decisions by CG were too much for me. Today's update proved me right.
Yeah, see, that was the thing, and Carlos is...
Thank you very much, Carlos.
A lot of people are upset about, not so much that the event being hard. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. I can kind of get by that you have to have 17.5 characters. I don't have a problem with that either, really. It's the short notice.
Yeah.
Panic farm. People were trying to argue with me that this was not a financial decision, and I'm telling you, it was a financial decision. If you want to create a panic farm, it put a lot of people, not Krakens in higher up wells already had these characters done. It was those mid-tier players free to play that had gotten Darth Revan, that had been smart, right, and invested and saved and farmed the characters and gotten them up. But this is a way for CG to make money. They don't just do stuff to do stuff. This made them a crap ton of money. If you think it didn't, I guarantee you it did.
Did you notice how much larger the gear store got for the weekly shipments this week.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it was huge.
It was like, as soon as everybody, and it only had the stuff that you need to like level up, like Mission and Zalbar and Malak and all that stuff. Like, as soon as Malak's event came out, like they had the gear for Malak in there too. Yeah.
So, I mean, they've got their teams, they've got their finance teams, they've got their econ teams looking at the state of the game, who's got saved what, who's doing what, and they are specific about making money. I've always had a problem with this with CG, is how they go about doing it. A 29-hour notice is blatant, cash grab.
Yeah.
I don't have any problem with anything else. The difficulty, the power, I don't care about that. But, if you try to tell me differently, then I'm going to tell you you're being disingenuous. Don't even try to come at me with that this was not about making money. Of course it's about making money. But again, I have a problem with them how they do this. And it's, when you're going to market something and you're going to push something and try to make money on something, perception of the event and how you're doing it has a big impact. People will invest, but then you're going to lose people slowly. It's a thing where, a lot of people got Darth Revan. They didn't have to pay a lot for it. I'm sure they made some money off Darth Revan, but really it came down to the gearing and those gear pieces. People bought crystal packs to get the new gear pieces for Darth Revan, and then lo and behold, they dropped this crap on us. 29-hour notice.
Well, and not just that, but it was shortly after Darth Revan, so.
Right. It's
like everybody's gear is depleted, their crystals are depleted because everybody went for Darth Revan, and now they have this other major event to where people are like finishing up tunes that they didn't concentrate on before because they didn't really need it that much, and now they do. So there goes the money there goes more resources. So once you get Darth Malak, then it's like you've got nothing left. I'm like zeroed out.
What were you going to say, Maurice?
I have nothing.
I think Maurice was about to say something a few minutes ago.
Oh God, I don't remember now. You guys made several good points. I was fortunate. I was 100% prepared for this event. Just like Ranger mentioned earlier, I like these teams. I've been working on the teams, so I was ready. I actually, all my characters met the threshold. I could just go instantly in without applying any gear whatsoever, which was great. But then they got me for probably 11,000 of my crystals. I have like 1,000 crystals left. Yeah, they just all went to these new fun pieces they have in the store. So even, sure, you don't have to buy those pieces. You could just farm them naturally through the energy nodes. That way you can finally get your, Darth Malak up to gear 11 once it's well past his prime and arena. That doesn't take you months to get those pieces. And that's 100. That's 400 of those pieces you'll need to get him up to, and he takes one at gear 11. So 350 of them, 300 of them rather, to get to gear 11. That's a lot of farming. And then you have all the stun guns, you have all the Carbanis, you have all the other various things he takes. That's a long, long time. So I did buy most of the those purple pieces from the shipments. And what do you know? Fortunately for everybody, they're right in the weekly shipments for you to purchase immediately for your Darth Malak. How convenient that is. And all those gear packs they brought out that all just conveniently had all his gear that you could ever need. So here, $40 here, $20 here, $20 there.
It adds up, man.
Yeah. So they got their money in a multitude of ways. I would, if you include all the gear and stuff people purchase for Malak, I'd be very interested to see how much was made on Malak versus Darth Revan. I mean, Darth Malak might have been a bigger breadwinner than Darth Revan.
Oh, absolutely.
I think so. Yeah, definitely.
Listen,
we were.
This is what.
Go ahead.
Just to go ahead. Finish what you were saying first.
No. Go ahead. I was just gonna ramble on. I'm done.
Oh, go ahead, ramble. I'd rather hear you ramble, to be honest. Because what I was gonna say is just kind of gonna be a counterpoint to that.
Well, now I forgot my train of thought. The difficulty of the event. They should have released. They shouldn't have put. I don't know. Do you guys think it would have been better if they wouldn't have put the GP requirement on the characters and just made it super hard and just you got to figure it out on your own, or that they kind of gave you what you needed?
See, I think that would have been smarter. Yeah, I think it would have been smarter if you made it to where you had to have gear characters announced it a week ahead of time. I think that would have gone over a little bit better than 29 hours notice.
Yeah. Well, the other thing too is that I know that they changed the event, because if you didn't qualify for the event, it says you needed a 7-star character. So originally that event was for 7-star character. And then they changed it to the power.
Oh, look at you,
So-
Detective Abby in the house. Yeah, I didn't even notice that.
And honestly,
We gotta-
I am a former detective. I am a former detective, so
We gotta-
I notice little things like that.
We got a
So if you-
gumshoe. We got a gumshoe in the house.
So there was some specific wording and some specific things that I noticed that they did change the event to kind of, I believe at the last minute, to throw people off, like putting in the power requirement instead of just having 7 stars, because they know that most everybody's going to have 7 stars, because they allowed a lot of the farming to happen for Darth Revan. So to carry that over, they needed to change something up a little bit to make it more difficult, so that people aren't just going to be prepared right off the bat for it.
Have any of you guys ever watched Dave Chappelle or the Chappelle Show?
Oh, come on now.
You ever seen the
Yeah,
you
come on.
ever seen the player hit his ball? You know, it's like hate. Now, I feel like, you know, that's a little bit strong for this, but I feel like right now we're all on a hate train for CG here, and I just want to do one little counter argument here and say that this definitely is, without a doubt, like a cash grab. I mean, for sure. Okay, I'm not gonna try to try to explain that or even
Right.
try to create some sort of excuse for that. But I do have to say, and I've said this many times before, but they are one of the more generous and fair companies when it comes to these types of microtransaction games. However, okay, I think, like, you know, if anybody's played Marvel Strike Force or, you know, any other mobile game where you have to buy characters and get shards and level up characters, in comparison to some of those games, we do have a lot of free to play stuff in this game. Okay, and all
Yeah,
the
we
stuff
do.
all the stuff that becomes that is pay to play at first, everybody can get it. Okay, there's stuff like in other games that you will never get, no matter how long you play for free. Like you're going to literally have to grind for 4 years to get that thing. Whereas, like, with this game, I mean, usually after a couple of months they just give it to you, and you can, you know, if you really like that character, you can go for it. So I'm just going to say, I mean, you know, again, I feel like you're right, and this will set some people back. But I think ultimately, you know, anybody who really wants Malak will have him for free really soon. It's not that long.
I don't think so. I disagree with your points respectfully, because yeah, they do give free stuff. However, you cannot be competitive without it. Period. End of discussion. And it holds you back, because if you can't be in the top 20 or 50 in arena and other things, and finishing in the top in Grand Arena and Territory Wars.
CG Revan.
Wow, I'm not.
No. Listen.
Who said that? Stop that. But if you want to say, if you want, you know, there can be a balance to this stuff, right? The problem is that, you know, this game is designed so that the way they make their money, they've decided on, and it's not microtransactions, this is macro transactions.
Yeah.
If you want a character, you're going to spend hundreds of dollars, and I've never seen a game like this where you spend that kind of money to get it. I mean, the amount of money people have spent in this game is just mind-numbingly just.
I agree. Yeah.
I'll tell you right now. I play Power Rangers, okay, and to get a character, like a legendary character, to level 7, that's the highest level you could get a legendary character. It will cost you like about $6,000 to $7,000 to get it, just to one character to level 7. I have 0 level 7 legendary characters. There's like
I wouldn't play that game.
There's like 3 or 4 people that have level 7 legendary characters in the game. It's ridiculous.
This is why games die. I mean, if you look at some of the games that have been successful throughout the years, they're not reliant on macro transactions because it's not a winning strategy for the long term. I go to games like World of Warcraft, and I go to some of these other games that are out there that have the game is so good, and you can get stuff if you spend enough time doing it. But if you want, they give you the option if you want to, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg to get it, right? There's just so many examples of that. And then you look at the other trend where, for instance, Battlefront. What was the big poo-poo about that? EA trying to do their microtransactions and did it for all this stuff. Just it backfired on them. This game is really good. The problem is how they go about making their money. And this is on the player base just as much as it is on the company. If you are going to give a company this kind of money all the time, no matter how much we bitch and complain, they're not going to listen to the bitching and complaining. They're going to say, well, they keep paying us. We're going to keep doing it. So the community's got to say enough is enough and not spend. But there's too many people out there that are going to spend. And they don't mind shilling over $300 or $400 per character, which is crazy in my eyes. It's a digital character. In any Star Wars game I've ever played, I've never seen how much you have to spend. You either have two options. Either you stay ahead of the meta and just stay in tune and save up your resources and crystals and try to stay ahead and with the meta, or you have to spend. You eventually will catch up. I always tell people that are farming, you will catch up. However, you're always going to be one step behind unless you can hoard. And that's crystals and resources and things like that. Now it's even to the point I can't hoard anymore because I've got to work on Malak. So everything and its mother is going into Malak.
Yeah.
Right now. So I can't save up crystals. I can't save up guild event tokens. Thus, I cannot work on gearing other characters other than when I get through raids. But my primary focus is on Malak. Then once I get done with that, then I'll be able to go back in.
Would you pay? Vistar Kai wants to know: would you pay a monthly subscription to get rid of microtransactions?
If it was, I would. $9.99 a month, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Absolutely. I've done that before. Yeah. $14.99 a month. I do it with Battlefront. I don't mind doing that. If I pay a subscription, I did it with the Old Republic. The MMORPG. I've done it with World of Warcraft.
They used to have it. It was a real small amount of money and benefit, but it was a better value than the Crystal Pack. And people were up in arms when they got rid of that subscription.
Yeah,
I think it was only like $4.99, $9.99 a month, but that's a lot of people. That's the only investment they made in the game. It gave them enough of an edge,
Right.
And they felt like they got their money's worth, and they eliminated the subscription. I remember Mist was super. Mist is still a little upset about that. He still brings it up every once in a while on the stream.
It's a damn subscription monthly.
Yeah, a lot of people were upset about that. I mean,
I forgot. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah, it was like a weird one. It was like 21-day subscription. It wasn't even a full month.
And they said, "Oh yeah, we're going to adjust a few things, and it'll be back," and it never came back.
Yeah, I had it. I think probably for at least 6 months. I got it every time it came up. It was a good deal.
I think Daniel's Jack used to get it all the time.
Yeah, that was his only purchase ever in the game.
Yeah, that's all he ever spent money on.
Yeah, I don't mind spending, and I don't mind investing in a company. I don't mind investing in games, but I've never seen the level that I've seen for a game like this. I mean, people have gone bankrupt. I've seen some horror stories.
There's people that spend hundreds a day every single day. Seriously.
If you've got it and you can spend it, fine. But there's a lot of people. Gaming addiction is a big problem, right?
Unregulated,
it's not regulated. There is nothing regulating the pricing or anything like that. So, a company's got to make its money, and it's got to. Again, this is how they go about it. And listen, if you want to, and I always am a firm believer, if you pay, you should have advantage. If you really, it's just the way it is. People are going to spend that kind of money. By God, they should have something for that investment, right? So. I've never had a problem with that. And I've never had a problem with people spending money in the game. It's just the way the company goes about doing it.
You should get your advantage immediately.
Yeah.
Not like, oh, oopsie, here, now you guys have an advantage. Here you go. Sorry about that. Now take it.
Right.
What was the guy's name that borrowed all that money from his family and he took 30 grand and spent it and then he was like. And then he basically quit the game and he went to a rehab facility and he sent out a GoFundMe for everybody to give him back the money for his family.
Yeah,
we were were talking about him last week. I forgot his name.
It's tough, and people have a real problem, just like gambling, just like betting on sports.
I know who it is. So I'm not going to. I'm not bringing his name up, but I know who it is.
It's not his real name, okay? It's his game. No one knows it. It's not his real name, okay? You know, we all hey, that guy hasn't played for 4 years.
I don't know about you, but my license, first name Goodall, last name Maurice. Is my real name.
He hasn't played this game for 3 years. Nobody would even know who he is. I just forgot because me and Abby were talking about it after the show last week, and I was like, "What was his name?" And I was really on the tip of my tongue, and I still don't remember it. But we'll talk about it later if you don't want to say it. That's fine. I forgot his name.
You know,
I stole money from my family. Go fund me. You know, please.
If I was running this game, I would do it to where you can build up your fan base and have things that they can buy every month in small doses, to where you consistently have revenue coming in. Right? It's gonna reach a boiling point with this game if they keep doing this. It really is, and we're starting to see a lot of people that I know personally that are quit. They're done. You know, because it's like even whales are just like, what am I spending on? You know?
Well, yeah, exactly. It's like, what am I investing in except for just a tune? And it's just, there's no real investment in here to be able to use it. There's a friend of mine who's a 5.4 just said, I can't get Malak to 7 stars because I don't have enough guild event tokens. So I'm out of here. This is ridiculous. I paid all this money to be able to do this, and I cannot 7-star him. So forget it.
Yeah, there's just lots of different ways that if I was in charge, that I would go about making changes to, you know, how people invest.
Mm-hmm.
I guarantee you, if you, as good as this game is, if you gave people the options of $20 a month, just $20 a month. Let's say you get $20 a month. If you have a million people playing this game and they all make a $20 investment, that's $20 million a month. Simple.
Yeah.
Instead of going through these things where they don't have anything, no one's cause a panic farm and then try to make up money on the back end because they know people that really want this character are going to make that investment. You know, so there are ways to do it.
Well, I pay attention to their rankings on like you know, the Android store, and they fluctuate. Like sometimes, like right now, because of what happened with Revan and then Malak just now, they're the #1 grossing role playing game, you know, right now, like period. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know, but you know, you can check a month from now and they'll probably be like ranked 25 or something like that. It's constantly like up and down, you know?
Yeah, they're always in the top 5. I've always never seen them, you know. I mean, they go with what works. It works for them. It's the business model. But yeah, I mean, you have to also, when you do things, have to think of what the community backlash is going to be. Unless it's a financial hit, they'll take it. You know, you see the forums and you see Reddit and you see all these people just going bananas, right?
Yeah.
Nothing changes. So it gets kind of old when you keep talking about the same thing. We've said this thing over and over. How many times have we had this conversation? We had it when Chewie launched, and then they did Jedi Knight Revan afterwards, right? We had it for the Thrawn event. We've had it multiple times where, you know, people feel blindsided, short notice, panic farmed, you know, all that kind of stuff. You know, so it's the same conversation, different material. Different characters. So
I will say I did get Malak on all 5 of my accounts, and that was so incredibly difficult to do. I about tore my hair out. Other people were asking if I could help them get it, and I'm like, dude, I can't even get it on my own.
It's like Abby's complaining, like it's like I did have to get.
But until people, you know, Wells and other people stop dropping thousands.
She's got 5 accounts. It's like I did have to get an oil change on 5 of my last week.
Well, oh man, I thought, okay, I just kind of went for like my 2 main accounts. And then if I did not get it on the other 3, I wasn't going to worry about it. But I thought, well, what the heck? I might as well just try it.
I had to pay mortgage on 5 of my houses last week, and it was ridiculous. I am so upset. You know.
Oh, I definitely had to take some, as Jedi Gunny said, frustration breaks.
Yeah.
All right.
I've never seen Arnold ever in a video look like me doing a video. When he threw his chair and stuff, when he got Malak, I was like, that crap was hard.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing's going to change until the Wells get tired of it and stop spending money. But the other thing is they're still bringing a lot of new players into this game. And so as they lose Wells, they're getting new Wells in. So
Episode 9 will bring in another horde of players. It will.
Yep.
Wells keep the lights on, keeps the bills paid. Anything they can get from us on a smaller end, if we spend $20 a month, that's bonus.
Yeah, just don't piss them off. That's the thing. That's the big thing. Don't piss off the whales.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's move on to the meta report in the top 5 real quick. Mark, I'm sorry you didn't get Malak. I'm sure he'll be coming back soon. Yeah, I understand how you feel. I mean, that really was that's the quickest they've ever thrown something like that on us ever. I mean, so I would, if I was in a position where it really would have been like, $1,000 to get the character or $800 to get the character, and I would have had to spend that money to do it, I wouldn't have done it either. And
oh no,
and I'd be upset too, for sure.
Yeah, I like what Abner Dunes makes a great point on Attack the Middle Class Dolphins. That's where the rubber met the road. How many of those they got the money from the Wells, and we ain't getting nothing for free to play. But those people in the middle, can we force money? How bad do you want it? Mm-hmm. And we'll make it to where if you didn't get it, you'll regret it. And that's what's happening now.
Well, looking at the meta report here, it looks like Revan continues to grow here, but still there's still a nice split between Jedi Knight Revan and Palpatine, which is going to be changing quite abruptly here pretty soon, I think. So do you think that Palpatine still holds a piece of this pie, let's say a week from now?
Yes, because it's going to take people some time to get Malak.
Exactly, that's what I was just going to say, yeah.
But this is going to shrink slowly but surely over time. As more people get that got Malak up, that counter is dead. We know it's dead. So it's just a matter of time. This is going to change drastically.
What if you run Palpatine and you have Malak on the team?
What if you run Palpatine with Malak?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What if you run Palpatine lead and you have Malak?
Not sure.
I
thought about trying it and seeing if it works.
That's kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
I just don't know how that would play out with a Malak on the other team. It may not be advantageous. It may backfire on you big time.
Because they won't get the turn meter bonuses for the Empire, but you'll still get the Sith bonuses from the Palpatine lead.
It's something to play out.
No, I don't think any Sith are getting any turn meter, at least from initially reading this. I mean,
but the Sith
bonuses,
it's weird. The Sith bonuses are health and like potency, right?
Well, no, they get the turn meter too from that Zeta whenever a debuff expires. Both the Empire and Sith get 5%. But if that Palpatine gives the Empire extra turn meter in the Sith health, yeah. But I don't think any turn meter is going to be available for any Sith whatsoever. But it doesn't say, it's odd. It doesn't say if Malak is alive, while Malak is present or anything like that. It just says Sith enemies can't lose turn meter. So if you take out Malak instantly, it allows you to get turn meter, then potentially Palpatine could still work. If it's going to be present even after Malak's dead, then Palpatine is 100% gone. I don't think you can rely on any sort of turn meter manipulation, which is very odd. I mean, ever since this game was new, like a brand new game, all the best characters manipulated turn meter somehow. Turn meter manipulation has always been a great strategy in this game, and this is completely just eliminated, a core mechanic of the game against other Sith. I mean, now you will still be able to do turn meter and stuff the other way if you use other characters.
Until they release Episode 9 Palpatine, and his unique ability is Sith do get turn meter while Darth Malak is on the board on the other team. Like basically like overrides. It'll just have like one piece of text that like overrides like that ability,
Yeah.
I feel like they could have found another way to make Malak better without basically nullifying Palpatine. You know what I'm saying? Like, they could have just... Like, that basically is just clear-cut, like, we don't want this team to work. You know what I'm saying? They could have done something else to Malak that made him just enough better where Palpatine basically could have been... could have had a harder time against Malak teams on defense. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
I mean, they should have done... I think they should have done something else. That's what I think. But, so, I mean, that's where the meta's at right now. Still interesting to look at. Let's look at the top 10 characters at rank 1 real quick. Pretty much the same as last week. Bastila Shan is still the number 1 with Revan behind her. Sith Trooper, HK-47. Now Darth Malak makes his way to the 5th spot at top 10 squad members. So
that's pretty fast.
Pretty fast.
That's pretty fast. Yeah, that's very fast.
So, a lot more Malaks than you would think, I guess, out there.
Yeah. It's unbelievable how quickly people geared him. He's not easy to gear. That's incredible. I mean, we talked about the money made from this, and there you have it right there. If you have Malak at gear 11 on day 1, you at least spend probably 10,000 crystals on those gear pieces. You probably spend...
Yeah.
Unless somebody was smart and they were like, I'm going to need this gear. And they just started farming it. They started farming it crazy,
You were a much better person than me, because I was like, why would I don't know. Like, there's no other characters that need it. Clearly, we will need it for other stuff. It is a new piece. But...
I do know that there's a couple people, friends of mine, that did only farm those gear pieces, and they had like 300 each of those pieces to get Malak. So it was possible.
Yeah.
Well, Nathaniel makes a point. Not many Malaks, but most who have Malak are taking first. Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, you can see here the disparity. So, I mean, if you look at the amount of Nihiluses that are on the board here and the amount of Malaks, the amount of Nihiluses that are there pretty much makes up the difference between what you would need to work with, let's say, if you add the total number of Nihiluses to the number of Malaks, that equals out to like where the Bastila Fallens are and the Revans are. So whoever's not running Malak is running Nihilus. You know what I mean? So that's basically how that's working right now. So pretty interesting, and you can see the Jedi kind of rounding out the top 10 there with Grandmaster Yoda, Jedi Knight Revan, Bastila, and Jolie. But that's our top 10 squad members. Now, I thought that there would be a shift here with the ships, being that the Millennium Falcon event had returned. Not much. I thought there would be a whole lot more Millennium Falcons. And maybe it's just early, and some people haven't gotten it leveled up yet. I'm sure if we look at the ship number, let's say a week from now, we'll see a lot more Millennium Falcons on the board. But right now, it looks like around the same as it was last week, maybe a little bit more. And pretty much the same team. I mean, it's like Han's Millennium Falcon, Home 1, Biggs Darklighter's X-Wing, and Houndstooth. That's the team. I mean, is that literally what everybody's running? Just two tanks and the Millennium Falcon?
Yeah. That's what I well know. I mean, I run Biston, but Biston's not really realistic for the vast majority of the player base.
Biston's number 5. Right behind Biggs Darklighter.
I think if you don't... Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, I prefer Biston myself. I love my Biston.
Well, Biston's ship is really, really good if you have developed the characters, because you
Right.
really need the gear, especially you need all the Omegas on Scarecrow Pathfinder's ability. You really need them decked out. I think I've got the bare minimum 2 pieces on the left side of each character. I think I have all 3, and I've got very good mods on them. I got all 5 dot. I think I have 1/6E because it takes the ship over 1 speed faster. If you don't have the characters, that one's really not worth running in your lineup. Too slow and just way too squishy. I think the vast majority of people are running, the 2 tanks, Biggs, Falcon, and the Houndstooth. Some Zeta Phoenix. We have a few Zeta Phoenix guys on the ship shard, really decked out Phoenix, and they use Ghost in their starting lineup, which is good if you have that ship super pimped out.
Ranger, do you think that we're getting a Malak capital ship here, and that we'll have to fight?
He dropped again.
Oh, he dropped.
Yeah.
He dropped?
Yeah, he's not even on Discord, so yeah, he dropped totally.
No, Comcast. Keep that Comcast digital high speed internet.
I have Comcast, and I haven't dropped.
So, that's the top 10 squad members at rank 1. These are the reinforcements. Again, with the Phantom 2 as number 1. Cassian's U-Wing really seeing a lot more use, almost catching up to the Phantom 2 here. So, that's pretty interesting. The Ghost right behind them. Wedge Antilles X-Wing, Lando, Biggs Darklighter, TIE Advanced, and then the Ebon Hawk.
Mm-hmm.
So, some interesting stuff there. Good reinforcements, but again, not a big change from last week. So let's move on to our top 5 for this week. What we're looking at today is top 5 arena leaders. Being that we got a change here coming today, we figured this would be a good time to do this. I also kind of picked this topic because it seemed like the arena was kind of more interesting over the last week and a half with the ability to use Palpatine and all these other things. Obviously, getting the news today, we had to make some adjustments to the list, but I thought this would be a kind of interesting or worthwhile topic because the meta has kind of been, a little bit all over the place. I mean, I'm facing CLS teams, I'm facing Revan teams, I'm seeing Darth Revan teams and Jedi Revan teams, I'm seeing Palpatine teams, so it's a little bit of a mixed meta right now, which will probably change here in the next few days, but we'll have to see what happens. So who do we have at number 5 here, Maurice?
Number 5 is going to be Emperor Palpatine. Yes, he's not going to work as well or at all against Malak teams, but not everybody's going to have Malak, especially, I guess on newer shards you won't see too many Malaks or Darth Revans to begin with. But Palpatine is still relevant. Will beat any Darth Revan team without Malak for sure. It's still a very, very easy counter unless Malak's present. And then also you can use that's a different team altogether. But yeah, Palpatine will take out the Darth Revans without Malak. And he's very, very good for the early game players, early arena. He's one of the better arena leaders for your early game, just because you can get him a supporting cast relatively easily now, especially with you being able to just flat out buy Vader for $20 or so, I think it is, out of the packs now that they have. So you can get a Palpatine team up and running pretty quickly for new shards. Don't bail on him yet, guys. He's still going to be relevant. Not every Grand Arena opponent you have will have Malak. When scouting your opponents, if you see they do not have Malak, but they do have Darth Revan, you probably want to prep a Palpatine team. So he will still be relevant, just not quite the force he is now.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that he'll still be a force to be reckoned with in certain metas, certain arenas. But for the earlier shards especially, for people that only got Darth Revan and weren't able to get Malak prepared before the event, it'll definitely still be a top player there. But for a Malak-heavy shard, he will definitely drop down. He was a few spots higher on this list this morning, and after the news broke, we had to make an adjustment. So, moving
Poor
along.
Palpy.
Poor Palpy. But he is coming back in episode 9, so he has some things to. There's some reason to be happy for Palpy. All right, moving on to number 4, we have Bastila Shan. So, Basti broke onto the scene last year after she didn't work in Arena, and then she did after they fixed her Zeta. So, she wasn't getting the tenacity and the protection bonuses working right, and eventually they fixed her, and she was instantly a star at 4 stars. So, basically, if you were able to unlock Basti at 3 stars from the marquee event, and then spend the $9.99 to get that extra, whatever it is, 30 shards to get her to 4 stars, you basically had an arena viable character right away. And she hasn't looked back since. I mean, she's not top tier meta. You know, she's definitely not Darth Revan, Jedi Knight Revan, but, you know, under the right circumstances, she was able to take down Traya teams during the Traya meta. And she is still a very good TW leader. In Arena, she has her place as well in some of the younger shards, some of the more some of the shards where you're not going to see a lot of Darth and Jedi Knight Revans. You know, Bastila is the way to go. So she could take down Palpatine teams. She could take down Traya teams under the right circumstances again, and you just need to have the right kind of composition around her to make it work.
Well, she's great for early game, much like
You're double voicing. Maybe your Hangouts is unmuted.
Yeah, I fixed it. I hit the wrong button. Okay, is that better?
Yeah.
Well, again, she's another great early game character. Very, very good. Just for the simple fact that the game gives you Mace Windu. And Mace Windu, while he doesn't physically taunt, he is a tank. So you can use him with Bastila almost immediately. You do have to get Bastila. She is a later farm, but she is one that you guys should be gunning for if you're a newer player, just because she's so versatile. That Zeta leadership really renders, we just talked about Palpatine, it renders Palpatine useless. You cannot debuff this team very easily. You'd have to have a lot of potency to do so. But, you know, this is a great leadership. As you can throw, I mean, a lot of people, I do it myself. You know, I place a Jedi Revan team on defense, but I do keep Bastila, and I just kind of throw a ragtag group of, you know, Jedis behind her, whatever I have left. It's usually serviceable for a win or at least a solid attempt, you know, but very, very good leadership. It is required, well, technically, I guess, for 2 events now, assuming Malak does come back. It's just a very good leadership, and actually, the team does include Jedi Knight Revan, but a lot of people actually favor Bastila over Jedi Knight Revan when you're facing a Darth Revan team, just again for that tenacity boost and the extra protection, really allow you to kind of soak up that first turn and then just fire back. A lot of people like that team.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And that's why Bastila is number 4 on the top arena leaders list. Moving along to our number 3 leader in the arena. Who do we have here, Maurice?
Number 3, CLS.
Yes.
CLS. CLS is number 3. CLS can still be used to beat Darth Revan. We'll see how well it works now with the inclusion of Malak. Actually, Abner Dune, that's in the chat here, sent me a few videos the other day. Just beat the brakes off Darth Revan team. You know, just a great leadership. You know, maybe not the best to counter Darth Revan, but you can use it to counter. I use it as a Jedi Knight Revan counter. A very specific team, but very, very versatile leadership. Or just so many rebels in the game that you can throw behind him. Countering lead, all sorts of goodness for him. He might not be the most relevant now, but he will return eventually. He always does. Just the inclusion of Chewbacca and C-3PO now have just given him so many tools. If you have the patience to mod this team and clock it properly, you can beat about anything with it. So he's actually he stayed strong in this position for a long time, just for his overall viability. You're an early shard. You get CLS the very first time the event comes around, you have a huge advantage in your arena. So,
for sure. Yeah, and again against got
scrambling for mute.
The Midnight Express is driving by Maurice's house again to take him to the North Pole. Santa's gonna get him a gift. But we got CLS. Yeah, I mean he's great leader for early metas, but he's been a great counter against Darth Revan, like Maurice said, and I don't know what that means now that Malak got a buff, but it shouldn't really affect Malak too much. Because it shouldn't really affect CLS too much because Malak is relatively the same against Jedi. So all I'm going to say here is, I mean, I've faced a few of these CLS teams with my Malak and Revan. Now, bear in mind, my Malak is not Gear 12, double Zeta, so I'm sure that things will change and probably be more in my favor as I level up Malak. But, you know, I've had some bad encounters against CLS teams where, you know, if I AoE or, you know, choose the wrong person to attack, choose the wrong order or kill order, you know, you can get wiped out real quick with all the counterattacks on that team, especially once Chewie gets going. So it can be pretty interesting, and I think that CLS may still have a place in the meta here, even with the buff to Malak. So we'll have to see how that works out. Obviously, the team would have to be pretty fast and geared correctly and modded correctly, so that'd be a part of it always. But, you know, will a high-level Revan team be able to be taken out by a CLS team? We'll have to wait and see after the rework what that really changes. But I've seen it done, so it can be done. But moving along to our number 2, we have Jedi Knight Revan. So I think that regardless of what happens here, Jedi Knight Revan will still have a place in the meta, and will still be able to take out some Darth Revan teams, and obviously that'll work vice versa. Never have we really had a meta where one team is just unbeatable on defense. So although there is one team that will be the most dominant in the meta, there are other teams that can beat it, and I think that's Jedi Knight Revan will probably be the number 1 counter to Darth Revan going forward. So it'll be Revan versus Revan for quite some time, with obviously Darth Revan being the majority because he's the newer character and the more meta at the moment. So, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But again, the buffs to Malak really don't affect the Jedi team in any way. So if you were able to beat Darth Revan teams before the rework, you should be able to beat Darth Revan teams after the rework, even with a Malak. So, you know, we'll have to see again, you know, how the interactions change things, and if there's anything really to note there. But again, the change to Malak is not affecting the Jedi in any way. It really just mainly affects that Palpatine team. So Revan teams will still win.
And Revan, I mean, Darth Revan aside, Jedi Knight Revan beats everything. You know, like everything. Right. Pretty much everything else it beats. Yeah. And including Darth Revan. I haven't physically tried to use my Jedi Knight Revan against Malak team, but I imagine it's still, as long as you know, understand the mechanics of both teams and have your team clock properly, I don't think it should be an issue. I mean, people will take first place with on my chart of Revan every day. Jedi Knight Revan, that is, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're talking about the Game of Thrones guys, Benioff and Weiss are supposed to be directing a new Star Wars trilogy, and the possibility of them directing a Star Wars KOTOR trilogy or an Old Republic trilogy. I am all about that. I hope that they get the opportunity to do that. I couldn't think of 2 better people to do that because they like to stay so close to the source material in Game of Thrones. I think that they would do justice to the Old Republic. They may do their own spin on it, kind of like they did with Game of Thrones, but I think that they would do the best that they could to kind of embody the essence of what was there before and pay respect to it. So I think if they got the opportunity to do that, I mean, after seeing what they did with Game of Thrones, I have no doubt that they would put together a good KOTOR series. So hopefully that is the case. Hopefully, you know, even if it's not meant to be exactly the way the game played it out, hopefully they get an opportunity to go into the past and create like an ancient lore for the Sith and the Jedi, because that's really one area that's never been kind of touched in any medium, whether it be cartoon or television or movie. So that'd be awesome. But moving along to number 1, I think this is pretty obvious, but who do we have here, Maurice?
Number 1 is General Grievous. Darth Revan.
Liar, pants on fire.
Man of the month. The man that just got a whole lot better with Darth Malak rework. Darth Revan is number one. Fear, which is insane. That's absolutely insane. What an ability that is. Just all sorts of just nonsense he brings to the table. Just the fastest team. Maybe not out of the gate, but once they get going, by far the fastest team in the game. Turn 2. So just a great... I mean, we play him every day in Arena. It's just all sorts of stuff going on with that leadership ability, with the kit, with just the Sith Empire in general. I don't... He has now become... This team has now become the best team in the game, I think, with Darth Malak.
It's more fun to play, definitely.
Well, I mean, thank Christ they got another piece. We needed another piece.
Yeah, that's true.
Even 6 months from now, when it's stale and it's Darth Revan versus Darth Revan, you're like, blah. At least the matches only take 45 seconds, opposed to the 5-minute slog that Jedi Revan versus Jedi Revan was. I mean, even when it gets stale and everybody's tired of using it, no one cares anymore about Arena. It'll be quick rise or fall, depending on how good your Revan is. Will eventually be much more mod dependent, I think, than the Jedi Knight Revan team. It's a little bit more intensive in terms of what you'll need to succeed, maybe in a grand arena environment, but
that's until Darkside Jolie Bindo comes out. Revives all the Sith.
Yeah. Who knows?
Don't forget about Darth Jar Jar. Oh, he's Force lightning on you.
Comcast for the win.
Yeah, they suck.
Rangers back. So yeah, I mean, we just went through the top 5, and we're saying that Revan's the number 1 team in Arena right now, basically.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I mean, I was going to ask you earlier.
Yes.
They were talking about Malak and the possibility of the capital ship coming with Malak. What do you think? What are your thoughts about Malak bringing a capital ship into the game at some point, and us having to fight against Valkorion and the Eternal Twins to earn that ship?
God, let's hope not. Well, the twins were never pilots. They were generals on the battlefield, so.
I know.
But
do you think we'll get a capital ship?
We might. I mean, I don't think we're getting this capital ship right away. I'm really convinced that these next couple months there's going to be reworks and introduction into Geonosis TV. It's going to slow down for a little bit, and then they're going to get into episode 9 stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to slow down for a little bit. We're going to get some marquee characters, some new characters. I think we're going to get new clones. We're going to get some new team comps and things, changes in that. I think you're going to need the separatist droids for Geonosis as it comes up. So your B1s, your Droidicas, things of that nature, or something you may have to farm. Which really sucks that they took the 8 instead of the 5, so that'll be creamy. So I think that's really where the game's going to focus on for the next couple of months. Though, because they can't keep up this pace. We are going to die if they do this.
No, I think you're right. I think they're going to make their money the next quarter or so. Like they're done, maybe with the panic farming, hence the going back to 5. The new characters, they're going to make their money on the panic farming for gear now, because unfortunately whenever a new game mode is introduced, there's a mad scramble. Guilds are merging, guilds are removing people, guilds are looking for better players, just all sorts of shuffling in the guild world. They make a lot of money, just people trying to keep up or get to the next level, or just even maintain their status and try not to get kicked out of the guild, which is sad. It's kind of a sad state, but that's the way it's always been. The raids come out, TVs come out, guilds fall apart, guilds are just emerge, people merge together, just all sorts of craziness, all sorts of moving around and shuffling. Yeah, and of course they'll have. they'll have some pack for whatever character that you'll need, and then we'll get them 7-star gear 10 to meet the requirements. And then they'll be like, just kidding, you don't really need Captain Han anymore. Thanks for playing. So now everyone has a 7-star Captain Han that until recently probably didn't get much use out of. So yeah.
You're going to see B1 and Droideka come free to play. They're going to be part of the characters you're going to need to farm. So there's going to be some more marquees. I think we're going to get some more clones with the reworks. It's all going to be about the Clone Wars for the next couple of months. And you saw a lot of that. I mean, that is a popular time period, one of the most popular time periods, I think, in the eras of Star Wars is the Clone Wars. So a rich, diverse character group of stories and characters that people absolutely love and adore. I'm hoping that they'll bring in some newer Jedi, rework some of the Jedi that are in there. I lost the guy's name. Who was I'm going to go crazy here. What was the Jedi that Ahsoka hooked up with in the book? I just had his name. I can see his face. I can see the marks on his face. What was his name?
I know who you're talking about, but I forgot his name.
I'd like to see him added. I mean, they could go a lot of different ways with this. There's so many different ways they go with the clones. I'd really like to see that. So
we'll see. Quinlan Voss.
Quinlan Voss, and that was Ahsoka was Asajj. She was Quinlan Voss. Thank you. I'd love to see him added to the game. There's some cool Jedi from that area that they could add in characters that it'll be really interesting to go with different directions. Let's get some of them badass clones, ARC troopers, things of that nature. Let's get some more droids in, like the assassin droids and things of that nature. Let's do it, man. You're seeing it already at the A Games with Battlefront, with all the reworks and additions of Anakin. They just mentioned Ahsoka's going to come to the game soon. I got to give it to Battlefront, man. They really nailed the battles in the sense of the design of the look and stuff. The playability needs some work, but I mean,
Battlefront is good right now.
No, it's not, because Anakin is so OP. It's not even funny. He comes to the battlefield.
He should be OP.
Not like this.
The whole game, the whole damn story.
Get the hell out of here!
The whole damn story is about him.
It was never ever this OP, ever. It's so bad, dude. Like, go play. Just go play, and then you'll see what I'm talking about. And
I have. He is OP. I know.
He's retarded. Oh my god, I can't stand it. Because I'll be in there with a kill streak with boss, and just like, I got 40. Wait. Oh, I'm dead. God.
But yeah, so I mean, definitely start gearing up your Anakin, because Anakin's coming. So's Ahsoka.
Oh, it's coming, man. She's coming. There's a lot, and there's other TV series that they could go. I mean, The Mandalorian may introduce some new characters that they may look at. There's a lot of different ways. There's still a lot of EU Legends time periods that they can go into. Maybe they bring in a Mary J. There's nothing limiting Capital Games to put into Mary J. Skywalker.
Mary J. could be in there, yeah.
So I mean, there's lots of different ways that they can go about doing
I'm still holding out hope that we get Starkiller.
Could get Starkiller. We could. I think they're done with the Old Republic for a while. I think Malak's it for a bit. We're not getting Old Republic for a while, guys. So it's going to be Clone Wars and then Episode 9. So those that are sick of the Old Republic, I understand it. And I'm guaranteed we're not getting more of that.
Mm-hmm. We'll see. But moving along to our honorable mention, we have Jango Fett. Why is he here, Maurice?
Yeah, Jango Fett. Ranger mentioned him earlier, man. Seal. Always taking teams out of this battle. He actually came on our show a couple weeks ago and talked about this Jango lead. The Jango is, if you take the time to mod the team properly, and you have to mod it very, very well, you can defeat a Darth Revan team. We'll see how well it does with the Malak inclusion now. But this is a team that's very, very fast, can actually outspeed a Darth Revan team first turn, and then you just get going and get going. All sorts of goodies. Very, very feasible to take out about any team with that speed lead. It does give the 30 speed lead to the to the bounty hunters, or actually all scoundrels. So you can even, a lot of people are running like a hybrid Django Nest sort of team. Very, very good. For offense, do not leave this team in on defense because you will get absolutely slaughtered. But offensively, if you know how to use it, you know how to mod it, and you're comfortable with it, you can beat about anything with it.
Yeah. You know, he could be an X factor as like kind of like a sleeper counter to the meta. So we'll have to see again, you know, once you know, people get their Malaks acclimated, how well Django can really fare against some of those higher level Malak and Revan teams. But the initial looks at it were basically kind of indicating that Django can take down a regular Revan team. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, it'll be a while before I get any decent mods on them, so I'm just out of mods.
That's kind of where I'm at. You know, I had taken all the mods from my Jedi Knight Revan team and put them on the Sith so I could run these events and things like that. Now I've kind of put all the mods back where they belong because I'm one of those people that kind of believes like once I mod a character, I'm done with that character and then I move on.
Right.
So now I'm trying to search for mods for my Sith team. So now all these Sith are like really low level mods. Like, I mean, like I'm like sitting there with like, you know, I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm going in like every day when I get new mods, I'm just subbing them out and kind of playing around with it to see what I get. So I've got like health sets on my Darth Revan net. It's horrible. But yeah, we'll get there. Anyway, that's it for our top 5 this week. If you like that kind of thing, please do subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. It makes me feel good inside. Makes Ranger think about the Eternal Twins.
No, it doesn't. That's a lie.
But we will get back to a little bit of gameplay here, and we'll do our Q&A. I believe Maurice has a few things tallied up for us.
Yep. Yes, we do. Let's go ahead and get right into them. Okay, this one, just because Star Kai asks, thoughts on Tiger winning the Masters?
Well, amazing. I mean, you know, listen, I was really kind of like, I mean, you know, golf is not really my sport, so I don't know much about it. And the respect that I don't know, like, you know, I know a lot about football, basketball, because I played those sports. I didn't really know much about golf, so I don't know, like, what could possibly cause a person to be so off once they've been so dominant in a sport like that. I mean, because Tiger Woods was really still, I mean, he's still physically able, obviously. And, you know, I understand he was going through some mental trauma with his family, you know, that stuff that happened a couple of years ago. But I didn't understand how it could affect him so badly on the golf course. But, I mean, to see the guy finally come back into, you know, back to form here and win a Masters. And, you know, I'm sure, you know, that has to be very redeemable for him emotionally after going through so much stuff. And, you know, he's one of the greatest golfers ever. He's one of the greatest athletes ever. So, I mean, to have so many people, you know, kind of betting against him for so long now, and now he's finally kind of like shutting up his critics, and, you know, he won a Masters. Now he can, you know, go back to, you know, trying to play his game, and doesn't necessarily have to prove anything anymore. And, you know, hopefully he can win a few more before he ends his career.
Regardless of what you think of the man, just the conclusion, the celebration, his walk from, you know, the 18th hole to the clubhouse, that's it doesn't matter what you think of the man. That was like hair raising. That was a pretty cool moment to witness.
It was a cool feeling, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good way. You know, whatever you think of him, like GK apparently not a big fan of him in the chat, but I mean, yeah, I don't blame you. But you know, that was something else to watch. I'm glad I got to see it. So that was cool.
Listen, you got to bear.
Abdu says Tiger is great, but can he beat Darth Revan and Malak?
I don't think so. But I mean,
no.
But I mean, bear in mind, you know, you gotta keep in mind that you don't know these people's personal situations. Okay, everybody's life is a little different at home, and you don't, you know, as much as like it looks bad and all this stuff. I mean, you know, what he was accused of doing and all these other things, I mean, look horrible and they sound horrible.
He didn't do anything. Listen, listen.
You don't know, and you gotta bear in mind when you're a celebrity like Tiger Woods. I mean, you are getting girls and opportunities and things thrown in your face nonstop all day long. Everywhere he's on the road, going here to there. I mean, there is just people walking up to him trying to be his friend because he's Tiger Woods. So, I mean, again, I'm not saying that that's an excuse, but you also don't know. You also don't know what his marriage was like either at home. You know, it could have been.
I think the other thing too is he did have some really bad physical problems with his knee and his back and stuff that took some time for him to recover from.
Right.
You know, I mean, he had some major surgeries that he had to get with those. So, everybody in this country loves a redemption story. We really do. You know, to see someone come back. So I thought it was really cool. You know, he's been through a lot, and congrats to the guy. I mean, he's the greatest golfer ever, in my opinion. Hands down. I've never seen anybody dominate like he has dominated in the past. Now, he's back more in the playing field, but you kind of see him when he won the PGA last year, and this year he's starting to get his ramped up. I don't think he'll ever dominate like he did from those days in the late 90s, early 2000s, where he was winning by 15 strokes, setting records, and they had to like Tiger Wood the field, you know, the course because of what he was doing. But it's always so.
Would you let Tiger Woods sleep over your house?
Would I? Absolutely.
That's the true test.
Absolutely. Especially if he left his wallet on the coffee table with his keys.
That's the true test. Would you let him sleep over your house?
Yeah, because I'm like, hi, Tiger Woods, I'm an ex-Army Ranger. Don't mess up.
Yeah. Let me take that Buick for a test drive.
Don't be making me angry.
All right. Next question. Thanks, Bastar, for getting us riled up off track. And Kyrell, do you think we will see the bad patch coming into SWGOH? It's about time we get some badass troopers. I don't know what the bad patch is. Am I naive?
In the Clone Wars panel yesterday, they showed a clip of the genetically altered clones that were used at the end of the Clone Wars, the Special Force units that would go in small groups and just kick the living snot out of the Separatists. That's what he's talking about. So that's
okay. Well, we weren't there for those panels, so we don't know. So
I watched it on YouTube like everybody else.
Yeah.
So they showed that, and I was like,
Bad Batch. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Bad Batch. Yeah, they are. From what you saw with the little clips that they give, they pretty dominant. So cool. They were cool looking characters, and the way they fought and did their tactics was pretty badass. So I'd love to see the Bad Batch go into the game. But of course, I want the Knights of Ren too. So I'm just a greedy whore who wants it all.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely want the Knights of Ren too. I hope they come to the game. Bring Snoke in too, and then bring Force Ghost Palpy into the game. Yep.
The dark side.
The dark side. Roll it again. Any more questions, Maurice?
Are you guys finished? Can we move on?
Yes.
Get over inside.
I'll let you guys have some playtime there. Okay. Mark Garnett, which ships would run a Separatist capital ship? What ships would run with a Separatist capital ship? I'm not sure if I might have just pulled this out of context, but it's a good question. It probably has been years ago. Long time ago, there's a data mine for a Newt Gunray capital ship.
What did you say?
Wow.
So this is slowly becoming
bringing it back,
feasible.
Bringing it back old school, Maurice. The Newt Gunray capital ship. That was
we recently the most recent data mine included the information on the tiering system of Grand Arena. And I'm pretty sure they've kind of announced that the changes to Grand Arena, how they're going to do it in a tiering system. They did announce that. Yeah, I didn't just make that up. But we do see things.
They're going to be doing like a Grand Arena, like
a tier system, like a season sort of thing,
like a tournament. Yeah.
So we did. Imbo was in it. The data mine long before he came to the game. So that is something that could come to the game. I think it's much more likely that we get a Malak capital ship.
Padawan Annie's in the data mine too.
Yeah. So that's we could see it. We have Separatist ships. We definitely have Separatist ships, and there's I mean, you guys know better than I do. There's dozens that even I know of. You can probably bring to the game.
Do you think that they could rework Annie and then introduce a Padawan Annie for the Clone Wars as well?
Because Asajj could get a ship, Dooku could get a ship, Grievous could get a ship. I mean, these are all feasible sort of things that could come to the game.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
I ignored your questions just because I don't know who that character is. I didn't want to sound stupid.
Padawan Anakin?
So. Oh, okay. Padawan Anakin, yes.
Yeah.
So withered, good old Maurice.
Anakin with the ponytail.
Yeah. That's sorry.
Yeah.
Now I feel even stupider. All right. Yeah, and Phantom Wound says, droids haven't been introduced yet aside from IG-2000. So, yeah, there could be some sort of droid synergy as well. There is a tag for it, so expect a whole bunch of new ships that will be force farmed to get something we really don't need in the future. If you really think about it, at the end of the day, you don't need Darth Malak. He's like, well, it'd be nice, but
you don't need any of these characters, to be honest with
you don't need anything in this game. But
you don't need mods. Mods are stupid. Get out of here.
Well, you can play without them. You could really tear up that light side table without them.
Well, I'm trying to do a Grand Arena without mods on my Yoda, so yeah, I understand how that works. I had to get Malak.
There are people that literally only play PvE in this game. They don't do arena. They don't care about that. They just want to do like a couple of battles and
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
TMoney is correcting someone's grammar in the
I don't
old
care.
chat there. Yeah, she says stupider isn't a word.
Uh-oh.
God, good old Maurice, quit being more stupid.
All right, next question. Star Kai. Was the Malak event tuned?
Was the Malak event what?
No. Was the Malak event tuned properly? Personally, I had all the characters gear 12.5 or better. That's pretty good, Vistar. With all Zetas, and it still took me multiple hours to complete. That's from Vistar Kai. What do you guys? Do you think the Malak event was tuned properly? Did you like the challenge? Did you hate it?
I think if you had the right strategy, it was tuned properly. I mean, listen, I was kind of fortunate to get advice throughout my event. So.
Yes.
Yeah. I had to change up especially on the light side. I had to change strategy a couple times based on the power of the tunes, the level of the tunes, and the mods on the tunes. So, what strategy, like, for example, worked for you, Ramon, it didn't necessarily work for me. Although it worked with some of my other tunes, it didn't work for my last two that I was working on that took me forever to do.
I think it's important. I think it was important to have Mission Bow and Zalbar for that last for that light side event.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I don't think it was tuned quite properly, honestly. The event. The dark side was probably tuned a little bit better for what we should have been looking forward to, but the light side might have been a little bit too much, I think.
It was hard. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was definitely hard, and without the right strategy, I wouldn't have done it. But I'm saying,
I personally thought it was awesome. I thought it was really cool.
It was crazy, though. God in heaven, it was crazy.
But were you there with Loki? The first, were you on the stream with Loki?
Yeah, I was the one running it.
Yeah, so I mean, like, it was really, really fun. It was frustrating. It took a long time, but it was really cool.
It was very thought-invoking, because we went through...
Yeah.
We cleared the dark side, and then we started looking at the light side. Okay, how are we going to do this? And we kept doing it. And then he finally beat it, because we had to come up with some sort of strat that we thought might work. Now, when I tried it when I streamed it later on that afternoon, after I woke up from a coma, to try some of the different kind of ways that people had done it, their strategies. It just wasn't working until Vince still gave me that strat that he did, and then I beat it first time. And so when I did Mist stream that night, and then I did Remon's, the other day, I had locked that strat in. So it was very thought provoking. It's weird how easy the dark side was, and the light side was way more difficult.
Well, Joe Lee was definitely the weakest link. Like, he was worthless in that event.
Oh, yeah,
I didn't have a choice. I didn't have T3. But it was cool doing it. We came up with dozens of strategies on the fly, tried all sorts of different things, and everyone in the chat, tons of people had beaten it. I mean, it took us 4.5 hours of streaming to get it done. You know,
Yeah.
so tons of people had beaten it. And everyone had different strategies. You know, leave this Jedi pod up, leave that Jedi pod up. You know, a couple of people were saying to armor shred the droids, and that would have worked too because you could one shot the droids.
Yeah, at the end there,
because the armor shred didn't go away when they died, so that strategy was a good one. I think that's actually the one TMoney used towards the end of hers and got it done. So I mean, there are all sorts of ways to beat it. There are a couple ways, like the way you just mentioned, the way you guys did it on the stream the other night. That is probably one of the more surefire ways to do it. But it's a lot of fun. I do enjoy a challenge.
It took Van Sil doing that over 40 times, tinkering with that to come up with that strategy. So, 40 times.
It was definitely. I can see it was definitely hard, but I mean, I think that characters had their purpose. Like, I mean, Jolie was not the best out there by any means, but you know, he was there more so in my strategy to kind of heal Zalbar and Mission. You know what I'm saying? So that was really the key for my team was, you know, I think it was a little bit of a different strategy based upon what characters you had for the event, you know? So, I mean, if you're going in there with T3 as your character, I mean, you had to have a little bit of a different strat if you didn't have Mission or Zalbar. You know what I mean? So it was interesting. And, you know, Mission was really the main damage dealer of that whole team, you know what I mean? 'Cause
she got you to the last part in the end, and for me it was Zalbar and Mission always died first, and then it was just the three main ones that were left, and you just had to wail and just hope to God you went enough below that yellow that if he healed, it did not go above the yellow. So then you had a chance. But I actually won a couple, or at least one of the battles when he was enraged.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was enraged, and I thought, oh my God, I'm going to lose, but I'm going to go for it. So I put it on auto, and I won.
Wow.
There was totally
some
shocked.
RNG to it. There was definitely some RNG to it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, the fact that I pulled it out there at the end in that last one was really lucky. I mean, it was really, I got down to the
once
wire.
you got the first one, we only had 3 armor shreds, I think, on them. The second time, you get 5. And so, even though you lost Zalbar, you had your 4 heavy hitters, and he could not survive the damage. Even though he was healing, he was still seeing yellow. And then once you marked him that last time, you were golden.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much the end right there.
Wergold, I unlocked Malak on the Loki stream in the first hour. Wergold, you and Panda can go. So good, man. I'm glad you got him.
I am very happy.
You're a better player than me. It took me a long time.
Yeah, it was crazy.
I agree. It took me all the 3 days, and I got my last one 4 hours before it ended.
Yeah, Dr. Gonzo saying he got his 3 hours on the last day, a few hours before it ended. So yeah.
Yeah, and then I went to sleep, and I slept for like 12 hours after that because I was up so late for those 3 days trying to get it done, and I was so stressed out. So
because we're talking about it, a question just came in. Blackbeard Premium asked, "Does the Zeta on Zalbar make the event easier?"
Yes,
I think so.
More mission than Zalbar.
Yes.
Mission is the key, and the way you do it is you're calling in all assistants you can with Bastila's buff and Jolie, because every time you call him in, mission's going, and she's one that is really doing the damage, and then it's just calling assisting between Jedi Knight, Revan, and Bastila. But yeah,
I think
get on Maurice, no, you're dying. I'm like, Raymond's dying, no.
What?
I'm watching the stream.
Oh yes, on the arena. Yeah, I think Zalbar is good, but especially if you try to kind of keep one droid, just use constantly pound one droid with the dots, he will regenerate a good amount of protection. But I don't think it's mandatory. Well, I mean, it is kind of mandatory because if you don't have the Zeta, you're gonna need gear 12 plus a piece, plus 2 pieces.
Yeah.
So, because he's only got 3 abilities, I believe, so you're gonna need a lot of gear and/or 60 mods on him to make the event. If you put the, go ahead. What say?
Oh no, go ahead, please. I'm sorry.
Oh no. I think if you put a Zeta on Mission Zalbar, I don't think you'll be disappointed. You'll get a lot of use out of it. It's not just like people that put it on Juwani, maybe put 1 or 2 on T3. These are ones that have much more, situational uses, I think Mission Zalbar will always be relevant, or at least for the foreseeable future. Good Grand Arena Territory Wars type team. But yeah, let's see. We got a couple more. Or what were you saying, Avinash? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, on one of the dark side ones that I did, it took me like 3 or 4 tries, and I couldn't quite figure out why it took me so long to do it. And then I realized afterwards that my Darth Revan had no Zetas on. I forgot to put his Zetas on before I did the dark side. I won without the Zetas. Oh no!
Oh no!
So it was like, wow. I mean, I by that time, I think I was just so... That was the second to the last account that I did. And I was so brain dead by then, I wasn't even paying attention to what I had on any of the characters. All I know is they qualified. So I just went for it. And then realized I didn't have any Zetas on him at all.
All right, guys, we got one more here.
Okay.
We got from Fatal Wound. We kind of touched on it a few times. Like maybe Malak gets a capital ship for Sith ships. They need a leader. You think we'll get a Malak capital ship at some point?
I think we'll get a Sith-related capital ship at some point. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that they're doing this. I mean, I think we'll get a Sith, a Separatist, and possibly a First Order at some point down the road.
Yeah, I think it's silly that it would. Yeah, we have that Sith fighter, that Sith bomber. We've got Maul, we've got Vader, and now we've got this Palpatine ship, which would be another sort of panic farm. Whatever they decide. Have they announced what they're going to do? I know they put these ships. They put the ships in the packs, which leads me to believe they will be farmable.
Right.
But I mean, there's been no official cadence release for these Galactic Chase type events. So I mean, they can really do whatever they want with them. You know, the Ebon Hawk actually had a pack, I believe, that came with it, whereas Palpatine's didn't. So I mean, they're testing all sorts of stuff out.
I hope they don't put them into a node. I hope they just kind of do what they did before, where we could farm like another node in ships and get them too at the same time. I hope they bring back the Galactic Chase again. You know?
I will tell you. I mean, whenever those Galactic Chase came out, I did I did refresh my energy considerably more than I would have normally. I mean, there's no reason for me to refresh my fleet energy really at all. But I mean, those Galactic Chase were on, I'd refresh 3 times or so to get those at least up to 5-star. And I tell you, if they bring them out in the farmable, I'm sure as hell not doing that again. So they're gonna lose 300 crystals a day.
I would prefer.
For me.
I would prefer if you just had like a really thick Southern accent and you were like, "That came out last week."
That came out last week.
That came out last week. Them ships.
Yes. Apparently, if you have a Southern accent, that also comes with illiteracy and not being able to speak English.
God, Bill Maurice, learn to read.
You Yankee.
Drink your moonshine, God.
That Palpatine ship came out yesterday.
That I was at the Bojangles. They done released Palpatine ship, man.
I tells you what, them yuns Empire over there, that Vader and that Palpatine are sure is something you want to be using.
that Empire Palpatine came out last week's.
I'll be, hey girl, you want to let you date? Come on down to the Waffle House. Let's do that Galactic Chase together. All right.
So that's it.
Not making fun of my peoples. That's I didn't recognize. I don't see any more here towards the end.
Okay.
If I missed a couple questions, you guys were super chatty tonight. If I missed a couple questions, I apologize, but I think we got most of them.
All right.
A lot of them we answered kind of as we were just naturally talking.
Well,
so.
We're running on 2 hours here anyway, so we gotta call. We gotta call it a night. So I appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. This was really fun. I'm glad we were able to get Ranger to join us and Abby and good old Maurice. It was a cool panel tonight and able to have a lot of really interesting talks about what's coming. So only time will tell, folks. We'll have to see what happens next week when Malak gets the buff. What happens. I mean, listen, they could also change that. I mean, CG is not a stranger to making last minute decisions, so they could easily do something different, make it a different buff. They could do anything. So we'll have to see what happens, and Nothing says that even if they do that it's final. I mean, they could do that and then change it to something else next week too. So we'll see.
They didn't.
They could also buff Palpatine. I mean, who knows? They could do a lot of different things. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, at the end of it, everybody's happy, because that's really what we all want, is everybody to enjoy the game. So, and Jabba the Hutt to come to the game. That's the other thing everybody wants. But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun, guys. We'll be back next week. Definitely make sure to check out Maurice and TMoney stream on Tuesday night, which is tomorrow night at 9:30 Eastern Time. And make sure to check out Ranger Infinity's stream, the Reality Skewed Gamers stream, on Wednesday night at 8 p.m.
Yeah, we have too many streams going on. It's ridiculous.
And then check us all out. You can check us all out on Saturday.
Busy. I really have been busy.
If they decide to show up, I'm looking at Remon and Bill Maurice and TMoney out.
I can't miss it. So, we'll be back, though. May the Force be with you guys, and we'll see you on the next one. Good night, everybody.